So people tend to believe that when it comes to web development, you have two options. Either you pay a company like Bluehost a certain amount every month to host your website for you, or you set up your own web server, and that takes a lot of technical knowledge. I'm here today to show you that that's not true. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so real quick before we get started, I just want to run through some requirements that you're going to need to actually do this. So the first one that you'll need is a Google account, and you'll see why in just a second. The second thing you'll need is Node.js installed on your computer. I'm not going to show you how to install that because there's plenty of tutorials on the internet for how to install Node.js, but we're going to be using NPM, which is the Node package manager. Then you also need a code editor and a terminal. I'm going to be using Visual Studio Code because it combines the code editor and a terminal, but you're welcome to be using brackets or Notepad++, or any code editor that you want, but you do need a command prompt. So yeah. Okay, so you can see here, this is the Google Firebase page, and this is why you need a Google account. So Firebase, I like to describe Firebase as a backend for front-end developers. So a front-end developer is someone who deals with the code that users are going to interact with. HTML for content, CSS for styling, and JavaScript for scripting. Back-end developers, however, deal with server-side stuff, so that's PHP and MySQL. I like Firebase because it gives you back-end stuff, but you don't need to know PHP and MySQL. And I'm a front-end developer, and I don't know and I'm not comfortable with PHP or MySQL. So, yeah, that's what Firebase is. And then, of course, they also offer web hosting and stuff. So, firebase.google.com is the site you want to go to, and then click Go to Console. Then it'll go ahead and load the console. You can also skip that step by going to console.firebase.google.com. Okay, now that we're here, we're going to click Create a Project. Okay, start with the name for the project. This is not a big deal. This is just for telling that project apart from other projects, so you need to know the project name. I'm just going to call mine Firebase Demo. Okay, just like that. And then I can say Continue. Okay, Google Analytics. You don't have to have Google Analytics on. It's for tracking website data. I'm going to go ahead and just leave it on. It's recommended. You don't have to do that. And then select a Google Analytics account. I'm going to say default account for Firebase, and then we go here. Good. Now it's creating the project. And then this takes just a second. And then this will be done. You can see also we have up here a different tab. We're going to be using that in a little bit. We're going to be getting a free domain to go with our free hosting. So we'll run through that in just a second. Now your new project is ready. Hit Continue. Okay, now you can see here's the project page. Don't hit anything with it. Don't touch anything yet. You're going to go into your terminal. My terminal is built into Visual Studio Code. You can see I just opened I just have a blank file or a blank folder. It doesn't matter where you put it, but you just navigate in your command prompt terminal to that blank folder. And then in here, you're going to say npm install Firebase. Oh, sorry, hang on. npm install -g. Firebase tools. Okay, and then enter. This will take a second, but what this does is it gives you the command line tools that you'll need to operate this Firebase project. Now, once that's installed, and that will take a while, and that's okay. It took a while for me. It's normal. You're going to say Firebase login. Okay. Now, the first thing that's going to ask you is whether you want to allow it to collect debugging information. I'm going to say yes. You don't have to say yes. You can say no if you'd rather. It won't affect your performance at all, but I'm going to say yes. Yeah, it's not used to identify you, so I don't really see any reason why not, but if you care, you can go ahead and say no. I'm going to say yes, and then enter. Okay, and then it'll pop up this URL automatically. You saw that here. There was a URL that appeared in the terminal, and then it popped up a window in my browser. And then I'm going to select this Google account. Okay, it wants to access your Google account. I'm going to say allow. Okay, now you can close this tab and then go back into here. Okay, success, logged in. Okay, now you're going to want to say, Firebase init. Now, this will ask what Firebase, I guess, tools that you want to initialize for a specific project. Are you ready? You're about to initialize a Firebase project in this directory. You ready to proceed? Yes. Okay. Okay, now you're going to say down. You're going to just use your arrows to go down and up. Down to hosting, you're going to hit space when hosting is selected in blue, and then you're going to hit enter. Okay, now select an option, use an existing project, create a new project, add Firebase to an existing Google Cloud Platform project, and don't set up a default project. I'm going to say use an existing project because we just created one. Now, this will be a list. You can see there's only one item here, and it's this. If you have multiple projects, that will be a list. So you're going to select that one and say enter. Okay, what do you want to use as your public directory? You just, this is just what you'll store all of your data that will be uploaded to the web server. I'm just going to call it public. You can call it whatever you want, it doesn't matter. But I'm going to say public. Configure as a single page app. I'm going to say no. You can say yes. Set up automatic builds and deploys with GitHub. I'm going to say no. Okay. Now, Firebase initialization complete. So that's perfect. It's exactly what we wanted. Now you can go back into your browser, go to the Firebase project, and then over here on the left where it says develop, click hosting. And then you're going to hit get started, or if you wait long enough, it'll automatically be set up in here, but you can hit get started. And then say, so this is the command that we typed. We're going to say next, next. Don't do anything with any of this, and then next. Okay. Now you can see, here's your information about your hosting. So the website is now hosted. You can be done now if you want, and you just need to click here, and you can see currently, so it's not, because we haven't, okay. Just kidding, don't go off yet, because I haven't quite gotten it done. So now you're gonna go into here and you're gonna say, I'm in your terminal again, you're gonna say Firebase serve, and what that'll do is it'll open your HTML stuff in a new browser window, through localhost, and then you can, every time you save a file, you can just reload that localhost page and view it. It's good for local development, and then when you're done and you have it like a new release ready, you can say Firebase deploy, and if you want to test it on the live site, you're going to have to Firebase deploy every time you save a file. So you can see here, it says local server, HTTP localhost 5000. You can control click that, and then see, here's the site. It says Firebase hosting setup complete. And now I'll show you what that is. That is actually this HTML document. This is index.html, and this is created for you by default. Now, we're going to go in and change some stuff here, so I'm just going to delete all of this. If you don't have any HTML experience, that's okay. I will leave a link in the description to some just sample HTML files that you can put in your public directory. So that'll be helpful for you if you don't know any HTML or CSS or JavaScript. So I'm going to say exclamation point, and I use that in Visual Studio Code because that gives me just a template of basic HTML stuff that just about every HTML document should have. So exclamation point, and then enter. And then here, you have this new HTML document, and then you can say title, and then I'm just going to make the title Firebase demo. And then you can go down here to body and say, you can add an H1 and say Firebase demo, if I can spell. Okay, just like that. And then we'll save this. And then now if you go into here, see this is localhost 5000, and then if I reload this, that was the HTML document earlier. If I reload it, that's what you see. And that's the content that we just created. So now I can go in here and edit it. I can say Firebase demo test and then save it and then go here and you can see test appears there. So you can do all kinds of CSS and JavaScript there. Just remember it all needs to be in your public directory, and that public directory is the root of your site. So, okay, and then when you're ready, when you are ready to send it out to the public, you're going to need to go into here and say Control-C, and that'll cancel it. Make sure the terminal's selected when you say Control-C. And then you're going to need to go into here and you're going to need to say Firebase deploy. And then you can hit enter. And now what this will do is it'll send all your files up to Firebase, and Firebase will say, okay, these files are all valid, and we'll go ahead and upload them to the domain, which you saw here. There we go. Deploy complete. Okay, now you can see in here, we clicked on this link and then we got this error. Now if we reload this, you can see that's the document we just created. But if I were to go into here and I was going to like remove the test and then save it, I could not just go into here and reload it. It still says test. I'd have to deploy it again. That's why you use localhost. But now you can see in here, localhost now will not work because I'm not currently serving the document through localhost. You can't deploy it and serve it at the same time. Yeah. Okay. Now, let me close these. So now it's hosted, and you've seen how to host it. But now you see this blue Add Custom Domain button. So we're going to use free domains offered by Freenom to add a custom domain so that you don't have to deal with this .web.app or .firebaseapp.com. So that's what we're going to do. Now, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh yeah, so regular domains are not that expensive. The domains that we're going to be getting are not like .com or .org domains. They're .tk, .ml, .ga, etc. They're all two-letter endings, and they come from specific countries that have decided to offer their domains for free. But if you want a .com domain, you can pay. And I'd recommend, if you're using Firebase, I'd recommend using Google Domains if you want to get a paid domain. The reason for that is that Google Domains, then you don't have to verify that you own the domain because it's with your Google account. So we can hit Add Custom Domain. And then here, actually, we need to go into Freenom. We need to find a new domain. I'm just going to say Aviation and Tech Studios. Okay, and then check availability. And then see, there's 5 different ones, and since no one else is going to need an Aviation and Tech Studios domain name, I'm just going to hit Get It Now for all of them. Perfect. Just like that. And then now I'm going to scroll up here, say Checkout. Perfect. Now, for period, I usually like to select 12 months free. That's the max you can get free, and then you have to pay. It's still cheaper than getting a regular domain, but you have to manually renew it after those 12 months. But 12 months gives you a fair amount of time before you have to renew it again. Now, okay, so 12 months at free. Okay, and then continue. Now, it will ask you to create an account or log in to Freenom. So already registered, I'm going to hit click here to log in because I already have an account. It's just like that. And then, okay, that's my login. So I just input my login information there. And now I'm going to hit login. Okay. And then go down here, go to view cart. And then you can see these are all in the cart. Just click the I have read and agreed to the terms and conditions, and then click complete order. And then it'll load. There we go. Order confirmation. Perfect. So now if you go into services over here and say my domains, and then you can go to, you have all of these here. I'm going to use the .tk one, so that one is right here. And I'm going to say manage domain. You saw I also had some aviation and tech ones. Just ignore those are not a big deal. Okay, and then you go to manage Freenom DNS. Now from here, you're going to say aviation and tech studios.tk, just like that. And then hit, actually, it depends on your preference. If you'd rather it go to www.yourdomain.tk or just plain yourdomain.tk, I would prefer it to go to www, so I'm going to say www.aviationtechstudios.tk. Then I'm going to hit continue. And then it's going to pop me this little code here that is to verify that I own the domain. So I'm going to click copy value, and then I'm going to go into here. And this is the DNS management for Aviation and Tech Studio. So I don't know if you saw, but when you're in the managing the domain and you click manage Freenom DNS, and then you go into here, you say type txt, and then leave the name over here blank, and say the target, and then paste that thing that you copied earlier, and then say save changes. Okay. Now, when you go into here and click verify, it's going to throw you this little red error. And the reason for that is stuff like this takes a long time to, process. So, we're going to need to pause this and wait a little bit for this to be done. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then you guys will see me in just a sec, but it'll probably be about half an hour by the time I get back. So, yeah, so we'll do that. Okay, so it's been about half an hour since we put in that little record in the DNS. So now I'm going to click verify here. There we go. Okay, so now we verified the ownership, and it's had its chance to go to everywhere in the world and let everywhere in the world know that there's now that TXT record in the domain. So now here, we need to go into here and copy this, just like that, and then go into here, and then go back down to here. We're still in the DNS records, and then go into here, and then for here in the name, we're going to say www, and then target, we're going to paste. Now, the only reason I said www is because if you remember when I typed in the domain and into Firebase, I said www.aviationandtechstudios.tk. If you just said aviationandtechstudios.tk, for example, then you just leave the name thing blank, and then you hit save changes. Okay. And then that should work. It may need me to log back in because I've been gone for so long. Nope, okay, record added successfully. So now if you go into here, you need to copy this other one, and then go into here, in the A here, www, and then target, paste that IP address, and then save changes. Perfect, record added successfully. So now, you hit finish, and then it asks, would you like to add aviationtechstudios.tk to? I'm going to say add, and then I want it to redirect to www, so I'm going to say continue. And then I don't need to verify the ownership because I already did with that TXT record. And then in here, then I'm going to copy this IP address again and then go into here. And this is what you're going to do in the first place if you didn't add www. You're just going to leave the name blank and then paste the IP address. And then I could have done this before. I'm going to do it now. You click add more records, and then it adds another row here that I can type in. And then I'm going to copy this IP address, go here, and then paste that. And then I can say save changes. Okay, perfect. So there's two little record added successfully things here. That's good. That's what we wanted. And then we go into here and we say finish. Now Firebase will automatically add an SSL certificate to your site, which gives you HTTPS, and this fun little bar here, or this fun little lock here that says connection is secure, and then it'll give you this certificate thing, which is not loading, but that's okay. So now this right now says need setup. That's okay, and it'll take a couple hours for it to say connected, but when it says connected, it's done. So right now, if I go to aviationtechstudios.tk, it says can't reach this page. It's not done yet. It'll say when you can go to it, it'll say pending here in the status, and then when it's completely done and completely usable, you can just say it'll say connected. So yeah, and when you're ready, so you go into here, you can edit this, and then you remember you need to say Firebase deploy down here in the terminal, and then it releases it, and that domain should be updated. So yeah, I think that's about all I have for you guys today. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it was informational and that you can use this information. I use Firebase for a lot of hosting things. So yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video if you enjoyed it and it was helpful for you. And I'll see you guys in the next video.